Welcome to We Know Marketing, We Promise, the podcast where strategy meets conversation. We're Naoma and Kelsie, two agency owners who live and breathe branding and marketing. We're here to share real stories, smart strategies, and fresh ideas to help you build a brand that actually works. So grab a seat and your favorite drink and let's dive in.
Welcome back. We are talking today about things and tactics you can do to recession-proof, in quotes, if you're not watching on video, your marketing.
Yeah, and I think the main point is we're not here to talk about scarcity or panic or just instill a bunch of fear.
No, this is more about being proactive.
Yes, things that you can do now when we're not in a recession that will help your business be a little bit more recession-proof come the time.
Yeah.
And some people's businesses are already built more that way.
For sure.
But with marketing, usually that is the first thing that people cut when they are going through a recession.
Yes.
When the country is, yeah.
Well, and that's what somebody, every time we are talking to my peers group, they always ask me, hey, Naoma, how are things going? Because they see marketing as the whistleblower of something bad is coming if they start to see the money getting chopped from marketing. So this year has been weird for a lot of industries, not just in marketing. Like we were talking earlier about how our summers are usually slow and we can get all this kind of stuff done. And right now it's our busiest months of the year.
Yeah, we are slammed right
now. Which is crazy. So, so the first thing people do is they try to cut their marketing budget.
Yeah.
And we're going to tell you why you should not do that. But first, let's start with some things that we would do or we would tell our clients to do.
Yeah. I think when people come to me and they're like, man, there's a recession coming. They don't even necessarily have anything happening yet where they're seeing a decrease in revenue. But it's what should I do? Should I pause what I'm doing? Should I decrease what I'm doing? What would be your expert advice? And that's where the relationship has to come in, because you have to be operating out of what is actually best for their business, even if it decreases your revenue as a business.
Yeah.
And so if you have that relational equity, I think you can speak very honestly into this situation. And my take would be the same to everyone, whether someone's paying me or not. Absolutely don't pause marketing. Mm-hmm. That cuts off your pipeline and it leaves you in a really vulnerable state when the economy is already very uncertain.
Yes. And to add to that, I would say to really understand, we understand that you would want to cut back money, which is understandable. The thing is people are still going to be looking for your solution.
Yes.
But you may have been very vague about how you're talking about what you do or who you help or anything along those lines. You may be a little bit more vague around that. So people don't know exactly that you're the go-to person for that.
Yeah. The pain usually isn't changing. The economy is going to go up and down and things happening in the world are going to always be happening in the world. Everything's going to be changing, but the pain people are in and the problem that you solve is not going away. My main thing would be to press in more. That's what I would recommend people to do with marketing. So if you are currently doing, an email and some organic social and you're kind of chill, what would it look like to crank it up? Would that be running some ads? Would that be, starting to offer some workshops for free for your customers? How can you really nurture the current customers that you have and then draw in new customers as you're nurturing the current loyal customers that you already have? And I think that is one of the other pieces is what do you have? This is a tactical way to recession-proof your business, I guess, would be upselling the current clients that you have. They already love you. They already are loyal to you. So what else, can you do
I think
for
everybody
them?
is always I need more clients. I need more clients. I need new clients. But you may have people that have already been trusting you and loving your product that you have stopped communicating with, stopped nurturing. That is a whole other avenue that you can pick up and go after. But I think another one that you should really be looking at is really building out your thought leadership and building out your
Yeah.
personal brand, because that's like the fastest way to build trust. And especially in times of uncertainty, trust is going to be a big part of if they spend money with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that because they're not necessarily, the problem doesn't go away, but they're probably going to be more picky with who they choose, is what I would say.
Yeah.
In a recession, someone's going to be more picky about where their dollars are going. They're not necessarily going to completely stop spending if they're wise. And majority of people know that like cutting your marketing budget completely is very unwise in the middle of a recession. Like, I don't think that's something I need to convince people of as much, but their personal brand, their upselling current clients, like the realizations we get going in one way, and then the recession kind of wakes us up. And so when we have one of those moments of like wake up, like you were even saying, it's a time to step in and be more intentional. So where in my personal brand have I kind of strayed off and just gotten a little bit lazier? Where in my monthly emails are we not very, practical or adding value? Or social media content, like, are you actually adding value to the people that are watching your videos on social media? Are you even posting videos to social media? Most people aren't.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things that I would recommend just like evaluating and then just curving it just a little bit more to be more intentional. But people are still going to be spending money on marketing in a recession. They're just going to be more picky with who they choose.
Yeah. And I think a way to be one of the selected of the pickiness rounds, right?
Yeah.
Is to really be an expert in that industry. So not just being a jack of all trades, but really being hyper specialized and the true expert in a one vertical or two verticals will really help you overcome maybe some of the pickiness. So niching down.
Yeah, absolutely. I think vendors are one of the first things to go when you think of going through a recession, and maybe your revenue has dropped, and so you are having to decrease expenses. And so a vendor would be the first thing to go. But if you're not a vendor, you're a partner because you're an expert, you're going to be more likely to stick around during revenue, decreases and increases. But I think one of the important things that you're hitting on is like niching down and knowing, like, if I were to create a business today, I would completely niche down. Like I would make sure I'm doing one specific thing for one specific audience and really hone in on an industry that would potentially not even be affected by a recession, like healthcare, attorneys, like kind of something like that. So I would become the expert in paid ads for attorneys, personal injury lawyers. And I would do that, and I would go and only sell to them. Yeah. And that would make me a commodity rather than a vendor.
Yeah. I think that's the point, is to find a way to make yourself in a partnership role rather than a vendor. I like to have. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you become indispensable?
Well, I think one is with the current people that you're working with is not just like deliver the value that you're saying you deliver, but also just thinking of how you can make things a little bit stickier, right?
Yeah.
So what other skills can you bring? And I think when we were talking about this earlier, like before we were recording, you were talking about like almost like you having a secret menu.
Oh yeah.
For clients that you've been helping, and it's not things that you would normally sell, but there are things that you can help with. And so you offer that only to your clients on the secret menu.
Yeah. So back in 2020, that was kind of what I did, because I lost majority of my clients, but I had two that stayed really loyal and stuck with me through all of COVID. And so I started offering them, I could see where they were hurting, because obviously COVID was hurting all businesses. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, well, where can I step in and actually help them human to human? Obviously with business type stuff, but yeah, I almost offered them like a secret menu, but I still, when I was like selling my services, I didn't include that secret menu of stuff to new customers. That was only to clients that that had stayed loyal to me, honestly, through 2020. So that was like a monthly email for them, because I really understood their brand voice. And then, adding on a couple of personal brand accounts for them outside of the business brand. And so it kind of developed into something so much more, but I don't offer and I still don't offer monthly emails for clients. That is
Yeah.
like a special VIP type thing that I will do if you're, it's more of like a secret menu thing.
But that's where I would think of like, what are some of those things that you can, like, that makes it stickier, right?
Yeah.
For you and the client. They see you as a trusted partner, not just it's my social media girl.
Right.
Right. So what is the thing that you can do in your own industry, right? To make the relationship stickier with your clients.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that you can think of is, what are some other skills that you have?
Mm-hmm.
So like
Connections.
Connections. I speak Spanish, and I've had a few clients that are like, hey, I know this is not like what you do, but can you read this for me real quick? Because it's going out. I preface, I say I'm not a translator, but I'm happy to look this over and also be aware there's like so many varieties of Spanish. But that just is me helping and saying, hey, I'm being gracious with my skills and I'm happy to look over this. But I think also thinking of like, even what connections do you have?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
That you can like make it stickier, right?
Yeah.
So
let me connect you to my friend here and introduce through an email, like other business partners or someone that can help sponsor an event, or, oh man, I have a guy that loves, donating to this specific thing. I'm going to reach out and see if he'll donate to your company's cause or whatever.
Yeah. So this recently happened with a client of ours that we've been working with for 2 years. And I'm constantly looking to, where can I create and add more value without them asking me?
Yeah.
So they're wanting to do this thing. And I was like, yeah, I'm happy to look into that because I have some connections over there. Sent an email and they were like, hey, we're so glad that Naoma's involved in this project because that gives us so much more like peace of mind. So we're happy to move forward with this. And so I knew that me being involved was a little bit of the glue of bridging that connection. And so finding ways that you can kind of become glue and cemented into helping their operations will make you indispensable.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And like, if you are truly operating as a business owner and you're talking to your client, business owner to business owner, you guys will have that relationship where you can even talk about the problems that you're having. So you're going to hear about the issues that they're having. That's what I've realized with a lot of my clients. It's like, man, I'm trying to figure out how to solve this problem. And because you have this friendship almost with them.
For sure.
But if you're in the day-to-day of all the client work that you can't get your head above to breathe, then you can't have those conversations with the client to where you would even know where you could step in and help. But that has happened multiple times where it's like, yeah, I've been looking for this specific person. Do you have any ideas? Or we're just having coffee or lunch and something comes up and I'm like, man, you know who you really need to talk to? This person. And then connecting them. And sometimes it's a client and they get to meet and connect, or like introducing you to a client because I know how badly they needed some brand strategy stuff and graphic design and all of that. So it's like, outside of me needing more money, it's like, no, I want to really take care of the people. And it does make the relationship more sticky. But I think when you try to make it really sticky, sometimes it can be unnatural. So it's like, if you're operating out of good character, you're going to be doing that naturally.
Yeah.
But if your head is so deep in client fulfillment work, then I think you have a hard time like looking up and seeing that there's opportunities for that. And so I think it's good to think through like, look for those opportunities.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Because you could come off really salesy or gimmicky if you just go after that. I would say another thing to do is, if you feel like this is coming to your industry, maybe ask your like top 5 clients out to lunch or to coffee and just to hear what problems they're having or what they're thinking, because you may have a solution that you could tailor for like this specific. You
got to create time in your calendar to do that though. So like, that's something very important to do. Spend one-on-one time with your clients. That is also helping make your business recession-proof. Yeah. Like, honestly, one of the other things I was going to talk about was just like starting your business utilizing strategy. Like, have a brand strategy, and then be very strategic with what you're doing for your marketing. Don't just post a post. Don't Just throw a logo up in Canva. Don't just flippantly operate in your business. Like, it matters. And when you flippantly operate in it, it really sets you up for failure when economic times change. It just does. And so if you can be very intentional with your company from day one, and if you haven't been, that's okay. But what can you do today to kind of start doing that? Because if you're operating from a strategy, you automatically have deeper roots.
Yeah.
That aren't going to fall over in a storm. Like, you're not going to be the tree that falls over in the storm. You're going to have really deep roots because you know who you are, you know who you serve, and you know what you do, and you know that you're the expert in that. And so that's going to come out in all of your content. That's going to be displayed on your website if you're intentional with that. And I would say that type of clarity creates so much trust when people are feeling like they're kind of on rocky ground.
Yeah. I would say that the biggest thing is your whole goal when economic times are uncertain is to be high trust.
Yes.
And low risk in your client's eyes.
Yes.
Like, that is the whole goal, especially when there's this uncertainty going on. If you are even remotely like coming off flaky or
Yes.
coming off as not an expert, you're giving people a pause, and that's not a good spot to be in.
No, absolutely not. And like, when times slow down, like I was even thinking back to 2020, if you're in a spot in your business right now where you're not super busy and you want to put these things into place because you have the time, work on your operations, work on your systems, work on your processes today.
Yeah.
So that when the recession comes, your communication isn't flaky. You're very clear and you're very on top of it. And they're like, man, they have a great onboarding process. And I feel really nurtured this entire journey. Your customer journey is mapped out. Like, spend the time when you have pockets to really invest in and be intentional with those processes and systems, because that also makes people feel very safe.
Yeah. So they say like that the fastest way to lose a client is actually in the first 30 days of you onboarding that client.
Yeah, I believe that.
So yes, be hyper intentional and give them a quick win to make them still feel excited about working with you. You don't want them to lose that spark.
Yes.
Because it just adds to that layer of trust. Now, saying that, I'm not saying bend over backwards and do everything to please the client. There's sometimes where you can't do that, but approaching it with relationships and being more of a, I'm here to give value and I'm here to be a partner, will take you further.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You need to be calm in the chaos. Like, don't start adding a bunch of fluff to your social media content or your website or your sales calls. Like, just be like calm during the chaos.
Yes.
And like, take out the fluff, be very clear on what you do. And if they're not feeling like you're grasping, they're going to feel so much safer with you. And so when you have those systems and processes and you have that 30 days mapped out to where you're really caring well for the client, you can trust that and trust yourself with that, and then operate calmly through the chaos, understanding that not everyone's going to be for you, and that's okay. You're probably still going to have to tell some clients no in the middle of a recession. Like, there are things that are happening that are never going to stop happening. But if you allow yourself to not be thrown into the storm of chaos, that also is going to make people see that you're a stable human being. Because that's the other thing. Like, we're all human beings. And so when there's uncertain times, people start acting really weird and doing weird things.
Yeah.
Because
I'm one of them for sure.
Because they don't, like, either they haven't dealt with something, or it's like you just don't know what's coming. So it's like, how can you make yourself as stable as possible so that your clients and your team, like, that's the other thing, is like, really take care of your team, because a part of like Recession-Proof is like having a team that can provide great client work in the midst of a lot of chaos. Like, that's one of our core values now, is you've got to stay calm in the chaos.
Yeah. And that's hard to do, but maybe it's at least appear to be calm in the chaos.
I don't think you can fake it. I think people see right through it.
I think some people can fake it. I
don't.
I've faked it before, where I'm like, yeah, I can totally do that. I'm gonna go Google that. At least I'm going to say, I'm not going to tell you to lie to people. Don't lie, but at least appear to be more calm than maybe if you're an anxious person, but also be honest. So when like if somebody's like, "Hey, can you do this?" and that's not really something that you know how to do, saying that you can do it is
Yeah, just to get money. Not a good idea.
not a good idea. I would say, "Hey, you know what? I've never encountered that. I'm happy to go look it up, or I'm happy to go ask about it." So that's a whole other rabbit hole, but definitely don't lie to people. They can see through it, but do appear to at least be calm.
Yeah, and do the work. Like that kind of goes back to even our other podcast episodes, just talking about like work-life balance and overcoming mental hurdles. Like one of the things of running a business is that the economy is going to ebb and flow. And so how we act and what we do in those moments really does matter. And it also is shaping us as people and creating the character that we're going to be operating in the future. So if you are freaking out in the recession, that's okay. But why? And let's like dive a little deeper into that, because how you are operating and the things you're doing in your personal life are absolutely either making you a more stable person or a more unstable person. And you are the person running the business. You're the person managing the team. You're the person managing the client relationship. So that should be taken pretty seriously. Yeah. And I would say that is one of my tips for making your business more recession-proof. Like, do the hard work, because everything in life is uncertain. So how are you going to handle it?
Yeah. Well, I think we have a whole episode about that.
We do.
Or about how we handle it, or how we actually don't handle it. I don't know. Yes. You all tell us.
Last thing?
Yes, go ahead.
So the last thing I would say is, when I'm thinking of uncertain times, 2020 happened and a ton of people just like disappeared. Don't do that. That's probably the worst thing that you could do, is just disappear. And you could even be going through your own stuff. Like, you don't need to share. You don't need to overshare on social media, but like, do not just disappear from social media if you've previously been very active, because once again, we're trying to build trust here. We're trying to nurture. We're trying to get good feelings around working with you, the work that you do, your team, all of that. And if you seem
flaky, yeah,
if you appear flaky, people aren't going to want to work with you in that way.
No, so, well, I mean, you may be a friend, but you're not giving you money and then hoping that you do the work is probably not going to happen.
No, it's just scary. And everything else feels scary. So that's like the one area they don't want to feel scared in, is the relationship with their marketing people or CPAs
whatever your industry
whatever you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the main goal is how can you build trust faster? How can you make the relationship stickier? How can you be providing value and taking the time to like plug the holes in your business?
Yeah.
And then to also, like, I know we live in our own head all the time, but I think just going to your clients and asking questions may give you way more insight into what may need to be spruced up and what is actually doing really well that you may not need to tweak.
That's right. Yeah, I think you covered it all.
Okay.
See you next time.
Awesome. Bye. And that's a wrap on this episode of We Know Marketing, we promise. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your business bestie. Want more? Follow us for updates, behind the scenes, and plenty of marketing gems.